Hi there, it's Beauty Junkie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be swatching and applying the new Natasha Denona Triochrome palette. I am so excited. This is my first full-size Natasha Denona palette purchase. I've only have like one mini from Natasha Denona. So this is a big deal because I could have purchased many other palettes from her, but this is the first one that really like appealed to me. So we're going to be swatching, and I'm going to try 3 looks, one from each row here. And these 3 in the middle are the trichromes. The rest are matte shades, which is super exciting. I love purple. I wish there was a little bit more of a green tone on the top row, but it looks like a lot of yellow. And then we have some neutrals on the bottom row. So lots of fun in this palette. Can't wait to try these out with. Let's start out first with the perfume of the day. I did do a recent video on this perfume. This is Alexandria Fragrances Forbidden Plum, and this is the dupe for, one of the dupes for the Tom Ford Private Blend Fragrance Plum Japonais. So I'm going to be applying this. So good. This is like mulled wine, like a spicy, wintry, alcoholic wine drink, and it has a lot of wood and oud notes in it. Reminds me of tobacco vanilla, and has a bit of hint of fruit, but barely. It's really good. It's sweet, it's spicy. I really like this fragrance. Check it out if you have not heard of this brand before. Let's get into packaging first. Everything came pretty great. I have a couple of notes, but this is the outer packaging, and even the packaging is multichrome, trichrome, whatever you want to call it. You can't really see it that well, but it goes from purple to green as you move the box around. Maybe it looks kind of green there, and then it goes to purple. So very cool packaging. It has all the details of all the shades on the back and has all the ingredients. And so this palette is made in Italy. It's preservative free, oil free, alcohol, mineral oil, paraben free, not tested on animals. The matte shadows you're supposed to apply with a fluffy eyeshadow brush to blend or detail, brushes for precision. The multichrome eyeshadows you apply with a dense eyeshadow for a subtle finish, or for a high payoff foiled finish, apply with a damp eyeshadow brush or with the tip of your finger. I love those application tips on the back. Alright, let's open her up. Everything shipped pretty great, nothing damaged, but I did notice when I opened the palette there was some powder kind of loosely strung about. I've cleaned it up since then, but I think it was one of the yellow ones that kind of was maybe overfilled. So when the lid touched it, it kind of like pushed powder away. And I noticed the mirror didn't have a protective film on it, just a slight little detail, so the mirror got a little bit dirty. You know, not a huge deal. I think most of the time these come with a protective film. At least other eyeshadow palettes do. But this one did not, which I thought was a little bit odd. But this is my first large palette, and I have to say I really like it. It's a little bit lighter than I expected, but it is nice. It's pretty sturdy. I like the names right under the shades. I think that's really nice, and the fact that you can pop them out. There's little holes on the back. That's also really nice if you want to like move around the shades. So really nice palette. You can see the different colors going on here. But other than that, it came very fast from across the country, and I can't complain. First time ordering from Natasha Denona's website. I happened to get this palette and a couple other of her chromium liquid eyeshadows all for 25% off. And I got that code from Instagram, one of the people that I follow had a code for this new launch, 25% off, which is better than my Sephora holiday sale code. So I went ahead and picked this up from NatashaDenona.com. So let's get into swatches. We're gonna do the top row first, going this way. And whew, I am excited. As you notice today, very special, I have blown out my hair. It is finally straight. I haven't done my hair in like months, so this is a big deal. So first shade we're gonna try out is Scrap. And this looks like, I don't know, an army olive green. Looks like that there. Next one we have is Androdite. Ooh, these feel like really creamy. I think you can probably barely see that there, but it's kind of a green toned light shade. Very interesting. I don't have any color like this in my collection. Next up we have our first trichrome shade. This is Scarab. Wow, look at that. That is pretty nice. So you have this green, but it kind of goes to bronze. And I know I can't really show you the shift that well, but maybe you can sort of see it in the mirror. Kind of goes to green to bronze. Very nice, very pretty. Just gonna double up. Yeah, very nice. Very smooth. Feels like a normal eyeshadow, really. I have tried other multichrome formulas from indie brands, and they can feel a little bit strange and metallic-y texture, but this one feels like a very normal eyeshadow on your fingertips. Next we have is Ion, which is like a bright mustardy yellow. Ooh, really like that one. That one looks like a lot of fun. I don't have anything like that in my collection. Next we have Vert, which is kind of like a pukey, greenish yellow. I don't know. Kind of like a deep mustard yellow, like a Dijon mustard, I suppose, or brown mustard. So that is the top row. These first 5 shades, they're very green and yellow leaning, which I personally like. I think it's going to be nice for fall. And we have some medium, light, and dark shades, and then the fun multi-chrome in the middle. I really like the way this palette is set up and laid out. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially just looking at this top row here. All right, guys, getting into the second row, the row of purples. I don't really need more purples, but I'm happy to have purples from a Natasha Denona formula. The first one we have here is a really light pastel purple called Naga. Not really sure the significance of this name, but wow, this is pretty. This is nice and bright. I think I might have a similar shade from the Marvelous Mauves, the Dose of Colors in this shade, but I don't think it's quite that bright. So this is really pretty. Love a pastel. The next one I have is Manganese, like magnesium, manganese. Not really sure. Ooh, that's pretty. That is a beautiful, like, plum, warmer sort of purple. Really pretty. Next, we're getting into our purple triochrome shade, Kinetic. These feel so much like normal eyeshadows. Like, you know, for a multichrome, they feel a little bit dry. Like, it's a little bit surprising. Ooh, I really like that. This is like a sophisticated multichrome purple. It's not like totally unwearable like some of the colors that I own, but this is really pretty, like a very cool toned purple, and it shifts sort of, I don't know, fuchsia to like this deeper smoky shade. Let me try to show you in the mirror. Maybe. See, you can sort of see that fuchsia color in there. Really pretty. Next we also have like a lighter sort of muted purple, but not quite as bright as Naga. This is Redox, R-E-D-O-X. And this is kind of a lavender, but not as bright, and a little bit cooler. See that there? And then last but not least of the purple row, we have Tungsten. And this is more of a warmer, sort of mid-tone mauve-y color. A lot of this row really reminds me of the Marvelous Mauves palette, but not quite there. I think this formula is really nice mattes, and I really love the Triochrome shade. So really nice set of 5 here. I'm liking these swatches a lot so far, so I think this palette is gonna be pretty promising. So you can see the beauty. This is all natural light, by the way. You can see the swatches here. All right, last row. This is kind of your more neutral row, a little bit peachy. I'm a little bit confused about it. I think it's the most like ambiguous color row. The first shade we have is like an ivory shade, and this is Vertex. This feels really smooth, but I'm picking up a lot of fallout. It's kind of a neutral brownish ivory. It doesn't really look ivory on my skin tone. It looks a little bit more light brown. But that is the shade Vertex. Then we have Plutonium, which is like an orange shade. Wow. I don't think I have an orange this color in my collection. I'm getting a lot of new shades with this palette, which I'm really happy about. That is Plutonium. And the next is our last Triochrome shade. This is Color Flip. Ooh, pretty, but also like another purple fuchsia color. I thought it, wow. So this one is like your typical, this one's like your typical sort of multichrome shade, and then it goes from green to purple, which a lot of brands have this sort of shift. Can't really see it that well right now, but it does go to green, which is really cool. And it also makes sense why it's called Color Flip. But very contrasting to Plutonium for sure. So next we have a pinky brown shade. This is Garmin. This is pretty. I like this one a lot. And then last but not least, we have a peach shade. This is Diatonic. This feels so smooth. And yeah, warmer peach sort of tone here. So I guess now looking at the swatches on my arm, this is a very like neutral row with that pop of Triochrome right here. Couple warm options, couple cooler options. So what I like about this palette is that it has a lot of options of warm, neutral, and sort of cool shades mixed in here, which I think is just really nicely designed and laid out, and it makes a lot of sense to me. Hopefully it all applies well to my eyes. Very happy with the Triochrome formula. Almost forgot to show you the shift on the purple. I think you can sort of see that green in the mirror. Maybe. Not like super well, but I think you can kind of get the idea. Alright, I I am pretty impressed with the swatches so far. This is gonna be a good one. Let's start with the green row look first. I'm gonna try to use as many colors from each row as possible for my looks. So that means this video is gonna be a long one if it isn't already. So if you're interested in a certain row, I will be time-stamping the different looks if you're interested in certain colors. So check that out below. All right, so going into the green row, I'm gonna try the lightest shade first, Androdite. This is kind of that like pale green color, which is really weird. I have the ABH primer on my eyes, and that is it. Yeah, this is so light. You can barely see this one on me. So this one will likely disappear on my skin. But I do want to lay it down just as a base coat. This will be kind of my nude shade. I guess you can sort of see it. It's a very light, sort of greenish toned ivory shade. Very pale. I do want to try Ion because it looks like a lot of fun. And that is like that bright yellow shade. Ooh. Oh yeah. This is like bright mustard. Ooh, this is a fun one. Probably gonna stain my brush though. It's bright, but it's wearable. I am probably just gonna be layering all these eyeshadows on just to get a feel for them on my eyes. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and invert. This is like that deeper Dijon mustard shade in my crease, just so we have like a contrasting outline. Wow, look at that. I love this. It's so different for me, but it's great. I mean, it's that greenish yellow that's like I am thankful for like the army green that's in here, and I'm gonna use a pretty small brush and just trying to deepen up the outer corners a little bit. This shade is a little bit trickier to blend, and probably just because it's darker, it's a little bit more noticeable if it's not blended, but it just looks like it's, maybe I need another brush. It's just kind of sticking. But I find that a lot of deep green shades kind of have that issue, where they just kind of stay in one spot and don't want to move. So this shade sort of smokes things out, but also makes this look a little bit more wearable. This side, for whatever reason, is a little bit easier. I don't know, maybe it's probably just me. But I imagine others might have a little bit of trouble blending out scrap. I do want to do a little bit of under eye. I'm gonna go in with Vert. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of scrap as well. All right, so that is all of the mattes from the top row. I think these are gorgeous together. All right, last but not least, which you've finally been waiting for, the multichrome shade, Scarab. I'm gonna apply it with my finger because I wanna have the most impact. And we're gonna go right in the middle, and oh my goodness, amazing, amazing. Look at that. I'm just like kind of tapping it on, but you could certainly just go and get even a more of a bold look. But this is looking very greenish gold in this light. which I love. Kind of covered up all the things I did, but I think this is an amazing color. I love green, and I love the kind of reflect this provides. I thought about getting the liquid version of Scarab, but I honestly don't think I need it because the payoff on the powder is pretty great. That is incredible. The only thing I wish there was another color on each row, like a shimmery inner corner that went with each row. I think that would really go over the top and complete the look, but you could put the Triochrome on the inner corner as well. But yeah, I like this color combination. It's a lot of fun. Definitely one of my favorite color stories. And I love all the interesting yellows. And the green, I mean, it just all ties together. I'm gonna do a little bit of mascara and I will be back, and then we can just talk about this look a little bit more. Alright guys, this is the final first look with the green Scarab multichrome shade. I am super happy with their multichrome formula. Other indie brands that have these types of formulas, I find them difficult to blend out. In fact, like, you cannot really blend them out at all. And I feel like with this shade, you can easily like take a brush and smooth out the edges, and there's not going to be any like black underlay that's usually behind a lot of multichrome shades. I'm not really seeing that with these, and I think that's really, really nice. I think this formula is made for everyone, the everyday person. Like, these are not difficult to apply at all. And you can easily just tap them on with a finger, and I mean, the payoff is pretty incredible. So I definitely recommend the green look here. Super, super happy. All right, on to the purple row. Purple is one of my favorite shades. So we're gonna try again to incorporate everything. I do really want to start with that bright purple, light purple shade Naga, just because it looks so pretty on the swatch. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, I like this one. I love the color payoff you get, even though this is like a pastel. Like, I could be done right now. So freaking pretty. Really like the shade. Seriously, if you love purple and you love a pastel, this is dynamite. Alright, let's get into sort of a medium purple. This is tungsten. And we're just gonna do a little bit of crease work. And I didn't put primer on again just because I don't want to tear up my eyes. But they're probably already gonna be torn up. The quality of these eyeshadows is really good. I want to try Rideau underneath my eyes, and this is kind of that cooler toned lavendery purple. A little bit of color and rounds out the eye. And then to deepen up, we're going to use manganese, just the outer corner, and just do a little bit over here. I thought it would be a little bit deeper, but it's definitely making everything look very plum-like. You can stop right here, all mattes, and be done. I'm really excited to try Kinetic, which is the Triochrome shade, with my finger. This was that interesting like purple to like deeper, like cool bluish purple. We're definitely jumping into nighttime territory with the multichrome. It makes everything just a bit more dramatic and cooler toned, deeper, rich, whatever you want to call it. Ooh, this is really pretty. I think because this is a deeper shade, I'm having a little more trouble seeing that like pinky sort of shimmery part. But wow, this is pretty. It reminds me of Lila. I don't own it, but it really looks similar to the tones in that palette. And I honestly have no idea if she did any repeats, but it doesn't matter to me because I don't own Lila. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of like the base purple, but not a lot of like that pinky shimmery pieces. I think it's just barely noticeable. There's a little bit of pink in there, but still like really pretty. I think my really pretty lavender pastel shade is now completely covered up, so I want to do a little bit in the inner corner. Now, is this color story like completely new? No, of course not. You have seen purple before, but I do like the warm and cool tone contrasted purples a lot. I think it looks really pretty. The pink and purplish contrast is really nice, and I think that's why this reminds me of the Lila palette. I'm just gonna retouch my mascara and then I'll be back. Alright guys, I really like this color story. I think the Kinetic shade is, you know, a little bit deep for the daytime for me personally. In my lighter skin tone, you're automatically kind of drawn to my eye sockets, but it is really pretty. I think if I had a deeper skin tone, it would be even more flattering on me. I really like the color. I feel like you're not gonna notice the shifty, dramatic multichrome-ness of the shade as much as the Scarab shade. I think that one was more noticeable. That was kind of gold and green and yellow. Whereas this one just looks pretty much like that violet deep purple, and you're not, I don't know if you can really see the more pinker magenta-y purple that it shifts to. So I feel like the performance on this one just isn't as noticeable as far as like really shifting. It is pretty though. I think this is definitely nighttime for me. And yeah, I think I like the other purple shades though, for sure. Like I like the mattes that go along with this. I think it's really lovely. The mattes are really nice that complement it. You know, you can definitely tone this down, apply it with a brush, not make it as bold. You can do more of a purple eyeliner instead of all across the lid. There's lots of options here. I am happy overall, for sure. Let's move on to the next row. Alright, I'm glad there's only 3 rows in this palette because my eyelids are getting a little worn out. Alright, so this is kind of our neutral row with a pop of orange and a pop of purple. I don't know what quite to make of this, but I'm going to try to use everything. I'm going to start out with Vertex, which is like that, you know, basic kind of light brown shade, bit cooler toned, just to put down a base. And this is Vertex, and at least it took away some of that pink from that irritation I've been using the Neutrogena makeup wipes on my eyes, and I don't love it because I can't rinse off. So I feel like I have a lot of residue in my eyes. Alright, so now we have that down. I know you can't really see that shade on me at all, but got rid of some discoloration. I'm gonna go in with, so there's that strong orange that's really gonna overpower everything. I'm gonna try Diatonic, which is that peachy color, first on the inner part of my lid. Yeah, there we go. That looks nice. Now I know, like, because I'm putting the multichrome sort of in the center, a lot of this, you'll notice like a lot of what I do gets covered up, but that's kind of, I try to use everything so at least you can see what each color looks like, even if it's just in stages of the look. This is a different color for me. This is like a very orangey peach. I'm gonna go in with Plutonium. Huh, not as bold as I thought it would be. This is kind of like a neutral brown. I mean, not neutral, but just not as bright orange as the Swatch, I suppose. At least not on me. Not as pigmented as I thought, but still, you know, very pretty, very fall vibes. Alright, which I'm thankful for. I'm glad the neutral royal looks pretty neutral. I'm gonna go with Garmin, which is like that peachy, pinky brown. And we're gonna do some crease work. I think the only thing that's really surprising about this row, now that I've tried almost everything, is that she chose to put a purple with this. Orange and purple are great together, but I wouldn't have mind like an orangey, shifty bronze color to go with these colors a little bit better. So I think the purple to green shift to go with this row was an interesting choice. But I think all of these colors, the matte ones, go together fairly well. I'm gonna pop the peach underneath my eyes. Here we go for color flip. I'm gonna take this, pop it on like the other looks. Ooh. See what I mean? You can see that sparkle. I could not see the sparkle as much with that kinetic trichrome shade. And maybe it's just a little bit too dark. But this one you can see that sparkle and shine like right away. So a lot of that orange kind of got taken away. But I think the orange and purple is really nice together, actually. Not something I would normally pair with this kind of shade, but I think it works. And I think that's what palettes are all about, like giving us different options that we would normally wouldn't put together. You're not gonna love every shade in a palette, but it gets you to try new things. Our multichrome all on now. Very pretty. I think though Scarab probably has the best shift. This one is pretty good too, but the the shift to green on the shade is less obvious than other brands I've tried. I think these feel like normal eyeshadows. They're really easy to apply. They're pretty foolproof. But the shift isn't as great. I will just say that after trying all three. But I think they're a lot of fun. They're sophisticated. They're wearable. I like the orange and purple. I think it's pretty cool. I'm gonna do one last round of mascara and then I'll be back. Alright guys, final last look. Orange and purple. It's cool, probably not my favorite look, but it's different. Alright, let me give you my final thoughts on this palette as I dust off all that kick up. Okay, so here, let's talk about like my favorite standout shades. Of course, the multichromes. Scarab's probably my favorite, followed by this last one here, Color Flip, and then that is my third favorite. I really like this one. It's just very dark on me, and I can't see the flip on it that well. That being said, this one I can see a lot better, like the sort of sparkle and shimmer, but the flip also not super noticeable. This one, the flip, you can really see a lot better, and it just seemed to be the most vibrant of the three. As far as the mattes go, I really liked this shade, these two shades up here, this one right here, the peach, and that's probably it. This one I wanted to like. I thought it was going to be a bit bolder and brighter, but not quite. Just kind of a neutrally color. And I found this to be like an interesting color combination for this row, but not like my first choice. I think like this is really bold, and these just, you need something else to go with it. I don't know. But you can certainly use the shade with the purples here, so you have some options. You could also mix and match purple and green. Those usually go pretty well together. I do think they probably could have used one more deep shade for the neutral row, and I would have appreciated some inner quarter highlight shades besides sort of the multi-chrome formula and the mattes. I would have appreciated 3 shimmers to go with these looks. But otherwise, this is a pretty good palette, really nice shades. I like that they're all mattes except for the Triochrome. And I got some really good, decent eye looks from this palette. As far as like, do you need this? If you already have indie brand multichromes, you do not need this palette for these 3 shades. Although they're nice and they're really wearable and you don't have that black underlay that you get from indie brands, the color shift isn't as vibrant and noticeable. So these are really wearable, but if you are wearing a multichrome, you don't necessarily want it to be the most wearable. So that's like my critique, is that these could work a little bit better. But on the other hand, they're still really pretty. So kind of take my opinion with a grain of salt. If you've never tried multichromes before, if you're a newbie, you like this color story, I think this is worth checking out and trying. I think you're going to enjoy it. But if you're the more experienced multichrome user, you might be a little bit disappointed with the performance of these. But I think you'll agree that they are really wearable. So that's that. I really like the packaging. Do I think it's worth the full price? I mean, I think any of these palettes is worth getting a discount. Anything over $100, try to get some money off when you can, for sure. I think the packaging is stunning. I really like this palette. Again, this is my first full size. I'm happy to get it. I'm going to be playing with it a lot more. Just really nice color stories here. I think a lot of people Even if you're not into color, you're gonna find ways to use this, and it's gonna broaden your makeup horizons. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts, questions below. Please click like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.